Hello friends, myself Ayush from Choice. Today we are starting with this new series of non-resident Indians. We are going to talk about three topics in this video. First is the residential status, second is the taxation, and the third one is the type of bank accounts a non-resident Indian can open and maintain. Our today's video will cover the residential status of the non-resident Indian. We need to first understand who is an NRI. A non-resident Indian, as per the income tax, is simply anybody who is not a resident of India and a citizen of India is considered as a non-resident Indian. Who is a citizen of India? Anybody who holds the Indian passport is a citizen of India. Who is a person of Indian origin? Anybody who himself or his parents or any of his grandparents were born in undivided India is considered as a person of Indian origin. So, anybody who is not a resident of India and a citizen of India is considered as a non-resident. Anybody who holds the Indian passport is considered as citizen, and anybody who himself, parents or grandparents were born in undivided India is considered as a person of Indian origin. Before the amendment of the Finance Act 2020, there were two simple conditions to decide the residential status. The first one is that whether anybody who has stayed in India in the previous year, that means the financial year for which the income tax return is being filed, has stayed for 182 days or more. That means more than equal to So anybody who has stayed for more than equal to 182 days in the previous year will be considered as a resident of India as per the first condition. Now, we have to look at that both the conditions are not required to be met. This is the or condition, either this one or this one. If the second condition is that if he is in India for 60 days or more, so that means the same thing, 60 days or more plus 365 days or more during 4 years immediately preceding the previous year. So that means this has two components. First is that 60 days or more during the previous year, that means for the same year for which the income tax return is being filed. And the second condition is that 365 days or more during the 4 years immediately preceding financial years. Both these conditions need to be met for this second condition. Either first condition or the second condition, any of these conditions are being met, he will be considered as a resident of India. There is an exception to this one, that any Indian citizen who leaves India for employment or as a member of a crew of a ship outside India, then this second condition will not be applicable and his residential status will be evaluated based on the first condition only. Now, after the amendment of the Finance Act 2020, there are several questions which have become applicable to decide the residential status of an individual. The first condition comes is that whether anybody has stayed in India for 60 days, for less than 60 days in relevant previous year. If anybody who has stayed in India for less than 60 days will be considered as a non-resident simply. This is the plain case that anybody who has stayed for less than 60 days in India in the previous year for the same year for which the income tax return is being filed will be considered as a non-resident. If he has not stayed less than 60 days, that means he has stayed more than 60 days or more, then we need to evaluate the second condition, whether he has stayed in India for 182 days or more than equal to 182 days in the relevant previous. If the answer to this yes is yes, then he will be considered as a resident. So anybody 60 more than equal to 60 between 182 days, less than 182 days or 181 days. So anybody who meets this condition will be considered as resident in India. Now, if he is not meeting both the conditions, then what will be the impact? We will again need to evaluate whether he has left India during the relevant previous year for employment or as part of the crew member of an Indian ship. If the answer to this is yes, then he will be a non-resident, the same exception which we discussed in the previous slide. If the answer to this is no, then we need to evaluate whether he is an Indian citizen or a PIO who is visiting India during the relevant previous year for any purpose. So, if he he is a yes, we need to again evaluate one more condition, whether his total income from income other than income from foreign sources, that means the Indian income is more than 15 lakh rupees. If the answer to this condition is no, then he will be a non-resident. And if the answer to this is yes, then we need to evaluate whether his stay in India during the relevant previous year is 120 days or more, and his stay in 4 immediately previous year is at least 365 days. In that case, he will become a RNOR, resident but not ordinary resident. Now we go back to this condition, whether he is not a Indian citizen or a PIO who is visiting India during the relevant previous year. Then we need to evaluate whether he has stayed in India for 365 days or more during the immediately preceding 4 financial years. In that case, if the answer to this is yes, he will become a resident. If the answer to this is no, then he will be a non-resident. So starting from here till there, we have to look at yes or no conditions, and we will reach to the residential status accordingly. Now, if anybody is considered as resident as per this flow chart, we need to again evaluate whether he is a non-resident in any 9 financial years out of the 10 immediately preceding financial years. If the answer to this is yes, then he will be considered as resident but not ordinary resident. Or whether he has stayed in India for 729 days or less during the 7 immediately preceding financial years. In that case, he will be, if the answer is yes, he will be considered as RNOR, resident but not ordinary resident. Otherwise, he will be considered as a resident, ordinary resident. ROR is simply the resident only, and there is no difference between ROR and the resident. Whereas there is a difference in RNOR and ROR, we will discuss in the later videos. These are the abbreviations used in this particular slide, which is RPY is the relevant previous year, IBPY is the immediately preceding previous year, ROR is resident and ordinarily resident, RNOR is resident but not ordinarily resident, NR is non-resident. Let's take an example that Mr. A, who has stayed in India during the previous year 1920 for 72 days, and his stay in India in the immediately 4 preceding financial years was as per this particular table. So that the total to this table is exact 365 days. So that means he has stayed in India for 365 days in the 4 previous year, and his stay during the previous financial year, that means the financial year for which the income tax return is being filed, is 72 days. So because these 2 conditions are met, he will be considered as a resident of India. Now there is an amendment during the Finance Act 2020 which is deemed resident. This is a very important amendment, and we need to discuss this very thoroughly, that anybody who is a non-resident as per the previous flow chart and is not liable to tax in any other country or jurisdiction by reason of his domicile or residence or any other criteria of similar nature, and income from other than foreign sources is more than 15 lakh rupees. That means the Indian income is more than 15 lakh rupees. So 3 conditions are required to be evaluated. First is that he is a non-resident as per the previous flow chart. He is not liable to tax in any country or jurisdiction by reason of domicile or residence or any other criteria of similar nature, and income other than from foreign sources is more than 15 lakh rupees. All these 3 conditions are met, then he will be considered as resident in India. So a classic example of this is a YouTuber who is making the traveling vlog and who is a resident, who becomes a resident as per the previous flow chart, considering the number of days condition that he has not stayed for more than 182 days or more during the previous financial year. So he will be a non-resident in this as per the previous flow chart and other conditions also. But he is not liable to tax in any country or any jurisdiction by reason of his domicile, because he is not domiciled in any country. He keeps traveling and spends only 1 month in each country and not liable to pay tax anywhere. But his income from Indian sources is more than 15 lakh rupees. So then he will be considered as resident in India. Now this condition is debatable, that the wordings of this condition says that anybody who is not liable to tax in any country or jurisdiction by reason of his domicile or residence or any other similar reason. there are experts who are taking the view that any employee who is residing in United Arab Emirates, UAE, or let's say Dubai, will also be considered as resident as per this particular condition, because he is residing in Dubai, working there, and his income from Indian sources is more than 15 lakh rupees. But there is a view that can be taken that he is not liable to tax in that country because of there are no taxes in that particular country, and not because of domicile. He is domiciled there, he has a residence there, and therefore he is liable to tax, but there is no tax in that country, so that is why he is not liable to pay any taxes. So then it is again a debatable. More clarity is sought from the income tax department, and we will be discussing this as soon as we receive more clarification from the department. These are the examples of the income which are includable in the condition of 15 lakh rupees, which we discussed in the previous slides. The first example is that dividend or interest income received from a resident in India. Second example is that income from business controlled in India. Capital gain which is arising from any property or any shares of the Indian company, or any property which is situated in India, will be included in the 15 lakh rupees. And any rental income from a property situated in India will also be included in the 15 lakh rupees. This is an illustrative list and not an exhaustive list. So there can be more such examples. This is the examples of income not includable in the 15 lakh rupees calculation. Salary income received on account of services rendered outside India. Dividend income received arising from overseas sources. Capital gain arising from transfer of property situated outside India. Rental income from property situated outside India, and business income from overseas sources having no nexus with India. So these incomes are not included in the 15 lakh rupees calculation. The third thing is that in any income which is exempt under section 10 will not be included in the 15 lakh rupees calculation. Examples are share of profit from a partnership firm in India will not be included because this is exempt as per section 10. Any interest on NRE account earned will not be included again because this is exempt under section 10. So that's all for this video. We will be talking about taxation of the non-resident Indians in the next video, and after that we will again be sharing uploading one more video, in which we will be covering the type of bank accounts which a non-resident Indian can open and maintain in India. Thank you very much. Please do like, subscribe our channel, and share this video with your family and friends. Thank you.